In this video, we are going to learn how to create a service level. What is a service level? Service levels are individual types of pricing categories you offer in relation to the types of vehicles and services you provide. Each service level gives you the option to calculate minimum fares, taxes, gratuity, waiting charges, and more based on the vehicle type. In this section, you can also decide which information you would like to collect from your clients. For example, flight information, number of passengers, or simply extra details. Dashride is totally customizable for your particular needs. Everything you set up here will reflect on your custom app, your online booking web widget, and for your call center. You'll be seamlessly and consistently collecting important information across all platforms. Before we get started, if you offer flat rates, be sure to view our videos on flat rates. To start, we'll go into pricing, which will automatically open to our service levels. This is where you will create your own service level. We will start by adding a new service level by clicking the green New button. We'll enter in the name of the service, for example, sedan, and we will enter in the description, for example, up to 4 passengers. We then click Create. Once created, we now have the option to add in all of the custom pricing options. You have the option to add a base fare, which is a flag down fare, or fare to just get into the vehicle, a minimum fare, which is the minimum amount you will receive from the customer for that service level, distance rate, which is a charge either per mile or kilometer, duration rate, which is calculated per minute, per 15 minutes, per 30 minutes, or per hour. Please note that if you choose per hour and the ride goes for 1 hour and 1 minute, the charge will automatically bump up to the price for 2 hours. You can also use the duration rate when setting up a service level for an hourly service you offer. Rate per additional passenger, which will add a charge per additional passenger. To use this feature, you will have to require the driver to enter the passenger count. That option is a checkbox located on the side under Settings. Waiting rate, which is charged per minute. The waiting rate is manually initiated by the driver from within the driver app. It is both started and stopped by the driver and then automatically added to the total at the completion of the ride. Waiting time grace period, which is the amount of time in minutes before the waiting rate charge goes into effect. So if the waiting time is $1 per minute and the grace period is 10 minutes, the waiting rate charge of $1 per minute will go into effect after 10 minutes. As mentioned, the waiting rate is manually initiated by the driver from within the driver app. Tax is where you would enter any tax rate that you are legally required to include. Default tip will let you add a default tip to each ride. This will be applied to every ride that is booked using this service level. The service level specific coverage zone will allow you to set a coverage area of a specific service level to a predetermined zone that you draw out. We will cover the creation of zones in the next video. The settings section allows you to customize the specific service level. You can choose your default payment method, which means new rides will be created with that payment method. The payment method is something that can be changed after the booking. The pre-scheduling interval determines how far in advance a ride must be pre-scheduled. You have the option to have a service level that is on-demand only, on-demand and pre-scheduled, or just pre-scheduled by a different amount of time. If checked, destination required will require customers to enter a destination before scheduling a ride. If allow round trips is checked, Customers will be able to book a return trip at a different date. If the drivers will enter a metered fare is checked, drivers will be prompted to enter the total fare at the end of the ride. This will allow taxi companies to override their pricing. If this option is enabled, drivers will be automatically prompted on their app to enter the fare amount when they complete a trip. The meter total will be set as the subtotal for the trip. Any additional surcharges, tax, tip, and fees can still be applied in addition to this amount. If drivers must enter a passenger count is checked, this will require drivers to input the number of passengers in the car. If necessary, the drivers can alter the number of passengers at a later point in the trip. Apply a custom pre-authorization hold amount will allow you to put a hold on a credit card when a ride is booked, or when a card is added, to make sure that there are sufficient funds on the card before booking a ride. We will cover pre-authorizations in a different video when we cover billing. The next video will cover ride input fields and surcharges. Once you have inputted all of your information, click Save, and you have successfully created your first service level.